Hello scholars. Today we are going to start with Civics Chapter 8, Social Justice and Marginalized. Social justice refers to justice at society level. It means all the people should be treated as equals. There should not be any discrimination on the basis of gender, class, sex, race, and even occupation. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about how particular communities are discriminated on the basis of different backgrounds and how they are excluded from the mainstream of the society. In the same context, first of all, we are going to discuss about marginalization. Marginalization is basically a system according to which a particular community or a particular group of people are being kept at a lower level or are being considered as unworthy, or we can say that marginalization means to make a group of people feel unimportant or isolated. These marginalized people are isolated on different bases, like their backgrounds, to the religion or community they belong, or the language they speak, or the way they live. Some people are marginalized if they are poor and are put at a lower status. In this manner, there are certain social, political, economical and cultural factors which has led to marginalization, and due to this, particular communities or group of people are considered as marginalized. Marginalization is having a very bad impact on our society. It has created differences in the society. It has not granted access to the marginalized groups for the resources and opportunities. All the people, those who are belonging to these marginalized groups, feel unsafe and insecure as compared to the dominant groups of the society. Even these people are treated in a different manner in the society according to their backgrounds. In the same reference, we are going to discuss about the caste system. Caste system was a division of people as per different caste. This system has got its origin as per the four Varnas in the ancient times. According to Aryan literature, the four Varnas were Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Shudras, Vaishyas and Shudras. And this division of people in the society was according to their work. In this Varna system, Brahmins were the people, those who were basically devoted to God. These were the people, those who were having the right and the knowledge to perform religious rituals. Second class of Kshatriyas were basically the warrior class. All the kings and chiefs, those who fought wars, were a part of Kshatriyas. Vaishyas were basically the tradesmen. All the people, those who are engaged in any sort of business or trade, were a part of Vaishyas. And Shudras were the people, those who were working under all these three classes. Or we can say, the community which serves the other three classes were of Vaishyas. Initially, our society was divided into these four Varnas according to the occupation. But gradually, Hindu society was divided into a variety of caste and subcaste. And the people of these caste and subcaste have their own traditions and customs. Initially, the caste system was on the basis of Varnas. But later on, these systems become so rigid and hereditary that the people were bound by these castes. The people are fixed into a particular religion and they were not allowed to have any sort of interrelationship with any other religion or any other caste. And in this manner, some caste were considered as higher caste and some caste were considered as lower caste. The people, those who are belonging to lower caste, were not given equal respect as compared to the high caste people. In this manner, caste system has resulted into disunity. A person who is belonging to a particular caste cannot change his caste irrespective of his talents. Whatever qualities a person possesses, but he or she will remain in the same caste and will be treated in the same manner how the people of that caste are being treated. The caste even determines the way of living of a person. If a person is belonging to a particular caste, he or she is liable to follow the customs and belief of the people belonging to that caste. And even marrying outside the caste or dining with the people, those who are belonging to the lower level, is considered as an offense by the religion and the person is punished by the society. In this manner, all the castes are discriminated from each other on different bases, and the rules of caste system became equally important like the rules of the religion. Next we'll be discussing about the effect of caste system on our society. First effect of caste system is divided nation. In earlier times, as the people were divided on the basis of their work, so the people belonging to a particular community or all the people those who are doing a particular type of work were having a sense of brotherhood towards each other. But later on, its impact, or we can say its evil effects, were visible. And the people, they were confined to their own work. Study of our history shows that the caste system has divided the people into rigid groups. And due to these separations, the people were not able to fight with the foreign invaders, and most of the time they remained as a divided nation. Next effect is miserable plight of the low caste. A large percentage of Indians belong to the low caste, and these low caste people are generally ill-treated. The people, those who are belonging to high caste, are not behaving in proper manner with them. These people are not allowed to become a part of social gatherings, or to enter the temples, or to sit with the people, those who are belonging to the higher caste. These people are generally considered as untouchables and are supposed to do menial tasks like cleaning, sweeping, collecting garbage, etc. In this manner, these people are considered as unworthy and are being treated in a very different manner in the society. So these castes remained ignorant, backward and poor. Next effect is obstacle to country's progress. Caste system has resulted a great drawback or obstacle in the progress of our country. It has even hindered an individual's talent. Caste system is basically an anti-national and anti-democratic, and it has fully affected the unity of our country. Caste system has divided people into groups, and due to this, the development of a particular community is not possible. And those people, however talented they are not able to contribute for the economic development of our country. Narrow-mindedness of people does not allow them to think about the society or the country as a whole. Even today we can see that the people, those who are electing their representatives, are well informed and are well aware in advance about everything. But still, the people belonging to a particular community vote for the candidate belonging to the same community. And in this manner, the elections are conducted in an unfair manner and on the religious basis. Even at times, the political parties also put up the candidates according to the majority of people belonging to a particular religion in a constituency, so that they can get maximum votes and can win the election. But this type of mentality is completely wrong and not good for the development of country. So we can say that narrow-mindedness of people is a major obstacle in the progress of the country. Next is role of social reformers. Social reformers are basically the people, those who try to bring changes in the society. Since earlier times, many social reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Swami Dayanand Saraswati, Jyotiba Phule, and so on, they worked for the upliftment of the lower caste people in the society. Even one social reformer, who is Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation, he worked for the upliftment of lower caste people for the whole life. He used to call them as Harijan. Harijan means children of God. His efforts has led to a big change in the living standard of these people, and since then the people belonging to these castes are being called as scheduled caste in place of untouchables. So in this manner, the efforts and activities of many of the social reformer has led to betterment in the condition of the people belonging to these lower caste. But nowadays the circumstances are changing. Especially in urban areas, caste system is losing its grip, and this is because of industrialization, education, science and technology, and so on. Even as per our constitution, it has given equal rights to each and every citizen of the country. Means there is no discrimination on the basis of caste, creed, religion, or on any other basis. All the people should be considered as equals and should have the common fundamental rights which are given to each and every citizen of our country. People should have the freedom to get education, to opt for a job, and use the public places or public conveyances. In this manner, our constitution has somehow contributed in removing the old methods of caste system. Next, we will be discussing about marginalized groups. In our country, there are certain marginalized groups like scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and other backward section. Now we are going to discuss about these marginalized groups. First marginalized group is scheduled caste. Scheduled caste are basically the people of a particular caste, those who are put at the lower level of the caste ladder. These people are generally called as untouchables, and now these caste people are called as scheduled caste, and these people need special initiatives for their progress. Second marginalized group is scheduled tribe. Scheduled tribes are basically the tribal people, those who live in forest. As per our constitution, there are certain tribal communities which are listed, which are termed as scheduled tribes, and the people belonging to these scheduled tribes even need special attention and initiatives from the government for their progress. These tribal people generally live in forest and have their own customs and beliefs, and even they are isolated from the mainstream of the society. Our constitution has made provisions and has even introduced certain special advantages for the people belonging to scheduled tribes, especially those who come from the state of Madhya Pradesh, Orissa, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, and so on. Even in every political institution and educational institutions, seats are reserved for the people belonging to scheduled tribes so that these community people can become a part of the mainstream of society. Tribal advisory committees have been set up and multi-purpose developmental programs have been launched by the government for the economic development of the people belonging to these castes. Even loans are being given to the people belonging to these castes so that they can easily establish themselves and can have a better standard of living. In this manner, our government has tried its level best to bring up the conditions of the people, those who are belonging to these tribal communities. Next marginalized group is other backward classes or OBC. OBCs are the group of people, those who are put at the lower side of the caste ladder, other than scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, are termed as other backward classes. Our government has even initiated various programs for the betterment of the people belonging to these other backward classes. OBCs are given better opportunities and the reservation up to 27% in the government jobs so that they can become a part of the current society. Our government has even launched various schemes or have undertaken various initiatives for the development of OBCs. So these initiatives are pre-examination coachings to the children belonging to OBCs so that they can compete in the entrance examinations, hostels for OBC boys and girls, financial help through pre-metric and post-metric scholarship, and even special guidelines to the voluntary organizations, those who are working for the betterment of these OBCs so that they can also compete to improve their educational and social economic development. Other marginalized group is of minorities. Minorities refers to the small groups in a society or in a country which are different on the basis of their race or religion. Like Muslims and Christians, they are considered as minorities in India. So these were the 4 different type of marginalized groups which are prevalent in our country. Next we are going to discuss about the provisions to safeguard the interest of minorities. Our government has taken various steps to safeguard or to prevent the interest of minorities. Our constitution protects the interest of minorities by giving them the right to conserve their culture and religion, by giving provisions to the children to be taught in their mother tongue at primary level, by not discriminating anybody on the matter of employment on the basis of race, religion or culture, by not denying admission to any child on basis of his race or religion in the educational institutions which are run by the government. Next we are going to discuss about the condition of women. The condition of women was not good in our country during ancient days, and the reason for this was various superstitions that were prevalent in our society. Women in our society were considered as a material object and are meant to do the household work, take care of children and the elderly people, and to manage the needs of the family. They were even ill-treated in different manner by the male members of the society. As ours is a male-dominant society, women were not getting equal importance in the society. Women were even not allowed to get education and were married at a very early age. Women were not even allowed to take economic decisions related to their family. They were expected to follow the orders of their husbands and later on their sons. Even there are various social evil practices which are prevalent in our society, like Parda system. According to this system, the women are not allowed to go outside the house. One more social practice which was prevalent in our society was Sati system. According to this system, if a husband dies, the wife was burnt alive along with the pyre of her husband. In many communities, even widows were not allowed to remarry and were ill-treated. One more evil practice is of dowry, which is still prevalent in our society. Girls are even burnt alive on the name of dowry. Dowry was basically given by girls' parents to the bridegroom at the time of marriages. But nowadays the scenario is changing. Many of the social reformers in the earlier times, like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Swami Dayanand Saraswati, Ramabai Ranade, Jyotiba Phule, etc., they worked for the betterment and upliftment of women, and they tried to remove all these social evils from our society. These social reformers started movements for widow remarriage, inheritance of property by the girls, and education for girls. In this manner, they tried to bring a change in the life of women in our society. Many of our freedom struggle leaders were women, like Sarojini Naidu, Annie Besant. They fought hand in hand with the other leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, and became an unavoidable part of the freedom struggle of our country and led our country to the path of progress and freedom. Next, we are going to discuss about the problems relating to children. In our society since earlier times, especially in rural areas, the small children are supposed to do the household work and to help the family in various manners. Year 1979 was considered as the year of the child. In this year, the government has formulated many plans for the welfare of children so that they can become a worthy citizen of the country. Since recent years, many child welfare programs have been started and launched in our country. Still, there are many children in our society, those who are not able to get proper food, proper education, and a better future. Our government aimed to provide proper food and nutritious food, education, and better living conditions for those children, those who are suffering due to various family reasons like quarrels in the family, aimless movements here and there, and unhealthy surroundings, which has resulted in crimes among the children. Many children in the society, those who are facing such situations, normally commits crime. So our government has tried to improve the conditions of those children. Next, we'll be discussing about the steps taken by the government for the welfare of children. As we know that children are the future of every nation, so our government has tried its level best to develop the children socially, economically, physically, and mentally. And for that, various health centers have been set up in rural areas for free vaccination to the infants, and various training centers have been set up for teaching craft works and recreational activities to the young children. Normally, the children in the rural areas have to work for their living, so they are not able to get their rights. So the rights of children have been considered by UN Declaration of Rights of a Child, and the organizations like UNESCO and UNICEF are working for the better living standard of the children across the world. Next, we are going to discuss about our constitution and the marginalized groups. As we know, according to our constitution, equality is the central theme of a democracy. According to our constitution, each and every person is equal, and there should not be any discrimination on the basis of caste, religion, gender, or even occupation. So the provisions in our constitution to protect the rights of marginalized groups are, according to Article 15, no discrimination should be there on the basis of religion, race, caste, or gender among any citizen of the country. Special measures should be taken by the government for the upliftment of people belonging to scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. The states of Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, and Orissa are asked to appoint a special minister to work for the welfare of the scheduled caste and other backward classes. The President appoints a special officer for the scheduled tribes who investigates on the matters related to the scheduled tribes and report to the President regarding the matter and even the steps taken to sort out that matter. Some seats are reserved in educational institutions and government jobs for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and other backward classes. So these are the steps taken by the government to safeguard or to protect the interest of the marginalized groups. Next we are going to discuss about effect of social inequality on economic inequality, which means as the people are socially unequal, then how they are getting economically unequal according to their social standards. The people, those who are belonging to scheduled caste or scheduled tribe, are mostly isolated from the mainstream of society, and due to this they are not able to get better education facilities, and when these people are not educated they become economically weak. In this manner their social inequality has resulted in economic inequality for these communities. As these people are uneducated, the advancement across the country does not have a major impact on their living style, and even their social status prevents them from getting better jobs. So in this manner, social inequality among these groups have resulted in their economic inequality. Next topic is reservations. As we have already discussed that in educational institutions and in government jobs, some seats are reserved for the people belonging to scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and other backward communities. And these reservations are given to these caste people by our constitution. Reservations are basically important to reduce the hold of the people belonging to upper class society onto the lower caste, and even for the upliftment of these marginalized groups. Until and unless these groups are getting the rights, they will not be able to progress in life and will remain poor, backward and ignorant. In this manner, reservations were very important for the development of these community people, so that they can also come up and become an important and unavoidable part of our society. So this was all about the chapter Social Justice and Marginalized. Before winding up, let's go through the highlights of the chapter. Social justice is a condition in which all citizens are treated as equal. Marginalization means to make a group of people feel unimportant and isolated. Some of the main marginalized groups in India are scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, other backward classes, minorities, poor women, etc. Our constitution has reserved some seats for the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and other backward classes in educational institutions and government jobs. So this was all about the chapter. With this we are going to wind up today's class. Good day for now. Stay home, stay safe.